Growing up asexual is weird. All your peers have some sort of sexual awakening, and you, the ace, you just don't. And you're always told that you're gonna experience it. But no. Nope. Nope. You may still have been interested in the opposite gender or the same gender or all genders, but not because of sex. You might have even had crushes and wanted relationships, but you didn't really realize that, well, sex is a part of it. Or maybe you did, and you just saw it as the necessary evil that is part of every relationship, for better or for worse. If you're like me, for the longest time, you may have thought, or may actually still be thinking, and you're confused about it, that you can't be asexual because you have had crushes and you wanted to be with somebody, you fell in love with someone, so you can't be asexual, right? Let me introduce you to the difference between sexual attraction and romantic attraction. It's not the same thing. To completely oversimplify things, sexual attraction mainly means that you are attracted to someone on the basis of wanting to have sex with them. You may not necessarily want a relationship with that person, you would just be happy with a one-night stand, and that would still be a mission completed in that attraction field of existence. Romantic attraction is essentially the opposite of that, meaning you would like to date that person and get to know them better, do all the relationship things, maybe marry someday. You could really see yourself in a long-term relationship with that person, but this attraction isn't based on wanting to duck. For most people, these two attractions are one and the same, meaning that they are attracted to the same or opposite or all genders, sexually and romantically. And that is why in our society they are basically treated as the same thing. Mostly you will just hear about attraction. Thing is, attraction can be split into these two types of attraction. I've said the word attraction a lot of times now. I think that there are a lot of aces out there who think, oh, I can't be asexual because I'm in a relationship. That's not how that works. For example, I did not know that finding someone hot actually makes you feel hot. You get a physical response to that, because I had never experienced it. I do find some people very, very aesthetically pleasing. Well, that's where that stops. I do have a type when it comes to what I find pretty or handsome, but all I think when I see these people is, oh, they look good, and then I move on. For example, I think that Teddy from Center Excuse, when he still had the long hair, and Boogie from Jiluka, and sure, Ruby Rose, why not? They're all very pretty, handsome, beautiful, whatever kind of adjective you want to attach to that. But I just acknowledge that and move on with my day. I could look at them forever and my eyes would be very happy about that, but that's it. I never have looked at someone and thought, oh yeah, I want to interact with them with my body. Don't have that. My process of thinking was more like, hey, these two look really good with the long hair. I'm gonna let my hair grow too. Or when I first encountered Ruby Rose, it was like, I need to become as confident as her because that makes her look absolutely stunning. You know, it's more of that instead of, they look good, I want to sleep with them. I don't know that. I have never experienced that. For the longest time, I thought that the romantic attraction that I was in fact experiencing was the same as what everybody else was experiencing. Attraction, meaning romantic and sexual. I didn't know that I was lacking the sexual attraction, that it wasn't there, and that it was there for a lot of other people. Until I read about asexuality and educated myself. I made an entire video about what asexuality really is and what it isn't, which I will be linking in a card. So I will be keeping this a bit short. Asexuality does not mean that you don't want to sleep with someone. It's not about want. Some people may want to sleep with someone, others may not. That depends on the person. It is not about a lack of desire or a lack of motivation to sleep with someone. It's a lack of attraction. Just attraction. Since I myself am on the sex neutral sort of side of the spectrum, meaning that I am neither repulsed nor interested, all of a sudden it made a lot of sense to me, while I never saw the concept of sex as appealing or logical. I honestly never saw the point in it. I am that super stereotypical ace that just goes, yeah, you could sleep with that person or you could eat cake. I would choose the cake. And honestly, I would always choose the cake. In my eyes, there are so many things that you could be doing that are so much better, that are so much more fun. But it's okay if you're not the same as me. As long as you respect me for my identity, I respect you. Growing up, I always thought it was this sort of necessary evil in a relationship, that thing that you don't really enjoy but you kinda have to do. But no, you don't actually have to do it. And you're always taught that, oh yeah, you'll learn to enjoy it, or you need to grow up, or it's just a phase. But just like My Chemical Romance, for some of us, it's not just a phase. A doctor in a hospital said something, and that wasn't even why I was there at all, that I was sick because of this. Don't let anybody ever tell you that. You are perfect just the way you are. Every other doctor who I've told this to, this anecdote, and even therapists have said that this person was incredibly unprofessional and should have never said something like that. No matter if you like the same gender, the opposite gender, all genders, or no genders, you are perfectly fine just the way you are. If you don't harm anyone and if you don't harm yourself, perfect. You're perfect. If you are wondering whether you may be asexual, I have a couple of questions that you could maybe think about for a bit. Can you think of someone who you genuinely find hot? I don't mean someone who you think is pretty, or someone who you think has a pretty hairstyle or is handsome. No, I mean someone who really makes you feel warm, who gives you a physical response, who you think is hot. When you have a crush, do you think about or want to have sex with them? Is that one of your main objectives when you have a crush? Have you ever looked at a person and thought, I'd sleep with that person, without necessarily knowing their personality or anything about them, not wanting a relationship with them, just thinking, I want to sleep with that person? If your answer, after you think about it for a long time, to all of this is no, there's a very good chance that you may be asexual. But only you can really determine if you are asexual or not. I can give you these questions, but you will have to think about it, and you will have to determine if that is a label that you would like to go with. Maybe go with it for a time, see how it goes, and if it doesn't feel right, you don't have to be. It's alright. You can try it, and if it's not for you after all, hey, we're all on a journey. There are different nuances to being ace as well. For example, there is grey ace, also known as demisexual or demisexual, meaning that if you have a strong romantic bond with someone, you can become sexually attracted to them. But since I am not grey ace, I feel like it is not my place to talk about it, and I feel like I would misrepresent it. However, if you're really interested in it and want me to make a video about it, I do know a couple grey aces who I can ask about some help for this, and then I could talk about it. But right now, as it is, I don't feel comfortable representing it. If you think that this could be you, it's not that hard to do some research, and if you see yourself in what is described, hey, you found yourself, that's great. Whatever you identify as long as you don't harm anyone, as long as you don't harm yourself, as long as you are just truly yourself and you are happy, that's perfect. You don't have to conform to the cisgendered, heteronormative, sex-normative society that we live in. You can be anything. You can be asexual, aromantic, gay, straight, trans, non-binary, cis, anything, as long as you're truly you and you are really happy with your identity and who you are. That is perfect. That is all you need. And I'm really happy for you if you found that. And if you haven't found that yet, don't worry, you will get there, believe me. And if you're currently going through a bad time, in case you need to hear it, you are so worth living. You're a beautiful person. I really care about you a lot, and it gets better. Everything gets so much better, and you will find happiness. I am sure of that. I'm saying all of this because I'm pretty sure that a lot of people will click on this wondering about whether they are asexual or having sort of an identity crisis. So with everything said, stay healthy, stay happy, happy Pride Month, and yeah, don't forget to love each other. Mwah! That was a bit cringy, but yeah. I have an end card now!